was watching a video yesterday about like the 10 mistakes that YouTubers make or beginning YouTubers make, and one of them was just do it. So got my ass off the couch, about to take a shower, and we're gonna go ahead and do this introduction. Fresh, showered. Okay, so an introduction, which is really weird because I feel like most of the people who are going to watch my introduction know who I am. So when I started thinking about doing this introduction, I started thinking about what are things that people who don't know you might need to know, and what are things that people who do know you maybe don't know about you, if that makes sense. And so I think a really important place to start is that if you are joining me on this journey, I want you to know that like my goal is that we are going to be 100% real, 100% authentic and transparent. And through this introduction, you'll probably see the evolution of the fro because I don't always let my hair down, and so I feel like it was important for this, for you to see with my hair down, for you to see me exposed, so you can find out who Davlin really is. So, for those of you who know me or don't know me, my name is Davlin Edgett. I was born and raised Davlin Roberts. I grew up in Colorado Springs, Colorado. Literally one of the most gorgeous places in the whole world to live. So how did I end up in good old Buckeye, Arizona? I think, so I'll get to that in a little bit, but grew up in Colorado Springs, Colorado. I am a product of District 11 schools, and I think that that's a pretty cool testament to District 11, because I like to think I'm pretty stinking successful. I grew up in a home with a mother and a father. My mom is this awesome, cute white lady. And my dad is a tall, stern, loving, caring black man. And so I had the pleasure of growing up in an interracial household and truly learning what it was to be colorblind, or at least with the effort of being colorblind. My parents did an amazing job of teaching us that color is not a definition. It's something that people see, but it obviously is not something that should define who you are. I graduated from high school in 2006. I was not by any means at the top of my class. I think I was in the middle. I like to brag that like my senior year of high school, I had a 4.2 GPA, but being honest, I had a 4.2 GPA because I was in student council. I think I had like a home period. I had English, and obviously English is my strong point. And I had one other class senior year because we were on a block schedule, but for the life of me, I cannot remember what that class was. After high school, I was college bound. And in being college bound, I would say that I was probably really lazy. In 2006, although it seems like it was a really like recent time, it wasn't a super big deal to go to college, and it wasn't a super big deal to just join the career field or go into the military. It was like, hey, you made it through high school. Whatever you do after that is, good with us. So I took my ACT the morning of senior cheerleading tryouts, and I scored, I'm pretty confident it was a 12. And I'm good telling you that I got a 12 because my ACT score doesn't define me either. I'd say that I was more successful after high school than I was in high school. So after high school, I followed in my parents' footsteps and I chose to attend Adams State College at the time, which is now Adams State University. And while at Adams State, I cheered for 2 years. So that kind of capped off my cheerleading career. I was a cheerleader for 6 years, 4 years in high school and 2 years in college. My goal in going to Adams State was to become a teacher. And my undergraduate degree was secondary education. During my second year of college, I was told by a doctor that if I wanted to have a life after college, that I really needed to stop cheering. And so the only reason that I stayed at Adams State was because of cheerleading. Like, that was the lifeblood, that's what kept me there. And so when I was told that I couldn't cheer anymore, I decided to go to UCCS, which is in Colorado Springs. And so that meant I was moving home. Slight change of scenery. I realized that I was shaking a lot. So I decided to stay in my room, which I think has decent lighting. I look like I'm glowing now, but just decided to make sure that the camera was a little more stable. So anyways, back to college. I attended UCCS for 2 years, and upon entering UCCS, I was told that they didn't have a secondary. Wrong. They did have a secondary education program, but in order for me to participate in their secondary education program, I would have to do a year of student teaching. And my advisor at that point had said, if you want a student teach, you can't work. And anybody who knows me knows that I have been one of the most independent people I know. And so telling me that I was going to have to, at the age of 20, depend on my parents again, I was like, that's not going to work for me. And so I spent a lot of time kind of researching what life would be like, or what, how I could still become a teacher and finish my degree in 4 years, because that was my plan. I wanted to be done with college in 4 years. So I entered UCCS's alternative licensure program. And what that meant was that I had to choose a different major, but I would enter the licensure program, and basically I would have to convince a school that I would be a good enough teacher that they could hire me with basically an emergency license, and then while I was working, I could attain a true teaching license and also earn my master's degree at the same time. And to me, that sounded like a perfect opportunity. I'm going to get my master's. We all know that masters help teachers make a little bit more money. And I'm not going to have to quit teaching. So fast forward, I got my bachelor's degree in 2010 in English literature, and then ended up convincing a school to hire me and completing my master's degree in 2012. And my first master's is in curriculum and instruction. In that time, I was super fortunate to meet my husband, who at the time was in the military at Fort Carson, and we had a super fast relationship. We met in August, and it was one of those things where I was 100% convinced that he was not going to call me again, and he did. And within 2 months of dating, I was convinced that Tyler was the individual that I wanted to spend the rest of my life with. I just had to convince him that I was that cool. Tyler and I bought our first house. Well, Tyler bought our first house about 10 months later. He closed on the house in May. In June of 2011, we got engaged on June 15th, and that was the same day that I found out that I was pregnant for the first time, and seriously over the moon. And with that in mind, and me being, or at least attempting to be a financial, a good financial thinker, I was like, yo, let's go ahead and just get married. I'll have my insurance from work, and I'll have your TRICARE insurance, and then, you know, we'll really set ourselves up to have good insurance for myself and the baby, and we can save your BAH to have, you know, an awesome wedding. And so that's what we did. 5 days after we got engaged, we got, you know, courthouse married. And it actually wasn't courthouse married. It's really funny. You go to the DMV, or we went to the DMV on Tyler's lunch break, and they were like, what are you here for? And we were like, oh, we just need to set up an appointment to get married. And they were like, oh, you don't need an appointment. All you need to do is take a number. And so we take a number, and we sit down, and we're each other's witnesses, and we're married. But for us, that wasn't us being married. That was signing a piece of paper that said we were going to get paid some extra money, and we were going to have dual insurance. And so we only told our parents and the people that were going to be in our wedding party that we were actually already married. In July of that year, which was 2012, I found out that I was going to miscarry. Tyler and I were actually on our first vacation together, and something just didn't seem right. Came home from vacation, and the doctor was like, yeah, you're definitely going to miscarry. Long story short, I've had 3 miscarriages in mine and Tyler's relationship, and I'm going to save that story for another video, because while it is an important part of who I am and an introduction to me, there's a lot more to that miscarriage story, which becomes a part of our adoption story that I think would be better suited for another time. So Tyler and I were actually married in a church ceremony in July of 2013. For all intent and purposes, we want to count all of the years that we've made it through this thing called marriage. So this July, actually July 19th, we will celebrate our 6th wedding anniversary. I'm going to make that a video too, because we are going to Vegas with 2 of our very best friends, and we're going to live it up. So watch out for that one. But I was born and raised Catholic. I was baptized Catholic. I did my first communion, my first confession, confirmation, all of that fun stuff. And because Tyler and I were married and living together, and I was with child, we were met with a lot of hesitation in the Catholic Church that we wanted to get married in. And I don't want to spend any time bashing the Catholic Church or Catholic religion, but I do think that it's an important part of who I am. And so it's important for me to note that I didn't have a huge Catholic wedding because I didn't agree with the same things that were going on in our marriage preparation courses, and they didn't agree with some of the things that were going on in my life. And so Tyler and I decided that having the big Catholic wedding wasn't as important as I guess I thought it was. What was more important was getting to share our vows and our love and our commitment to each other in front of family and friends. And so from that point forward, I have, recognized myself as a Christian. And I think my journey in faith is something that is a huge part of who I am too. But because I don't want this video to be 30 minutes long as an introduction to Davlin, we'll save that for another time too, because I think religion is a big part of being married and having a family. And I also think it's a big part of being a teacher. So if religion is something that you're interested, or my religion is something that you're interested in hearing about, make sure that you subscribe, follow the channel. There will definitely be a video on how we live our Christian lives here in the Edgett house. So in December of 2013, Tyler and I took what I would say is probably like the greatest leap in our marriage at that time, and we became foster parents. And we decided to be what is called kinship foster parents. And so we had one of my family members come live with us, and she stayed with us for 2.5 years, and she actually is still living with us. So in my family get to know you video, you'll meet Riley and Riddick and Tyler and our foreign exchange student. But being a foster parent absolutely changed, I think, who I thought I was. I learned what it meant to love without reservation, and to love with patience. And I think that was God's plan, like, the whole time. And so I'm super, super thankful for the experience of being a foster parent. In 2015, Tyler decided to get out of the Army, and that's what brought us to lovely Arizona. Tyler was born and raised in Scottsdale, Arizona, and so when he was deciding where he wanted to work, it was either Colorado or Arizona, obviously, because my family's in Colorado and his family's in Arizona. And so he was offered an amazing job opportunity, which was also a slight risk, but turned out to be a great reward here in Arizona. And so in January of 2015, Tyler left, and Riley and I stayed to finish out the school year. And then we moved to Arizona in 2015 and have been here ever since. In 2015, I made the decision that since I was leaving the comfort of my home and leaving the comfort of my school, I was going to step out of my comfort zone just a little bit more, and I was going to pursue a master's degree in educational leadership. And for those of you who don't know, that is a degree that's necessary if you want to become a principal. But what's important for everybody to know is that I actually don't really want to be a principal. I want to work specifically in curriculum and curriculum development, but having a background in administration is an important piece of that job. And so I know that being an administrator and being a decent administrator is going to be a big piece of my career in the future. So in moving to Arizona, things like God opened so many doors. It was mind-blowing. Tyler and I were able to not only buy our first home together, but we built this bad boy. Yes, Tyler and I. Just kidding. But we built our home and picked everything out in our home, and it is truly us. It's a very us house. And at the same time that we were deciding to build our house, we were blessed with the opportunity to adopt our son. And that is, like I said before, like, that's a huge piece of who I am and who we are as a family. And so I'm not going to spend any time talking about our adoption story, because I think that that has to be a story all of its own, because my man Rid is special. So we adopted Riddick in 2016, and it was also in 2016 that Riley moved back to Colorado to live with her mom. And in 2016, we decided to become foreign exchange parents. And so I have had 7 children. 3 of those live in heaven with God. 2 of them live on the other side of the Atlantic, 1 in Sweden and 1 in Denmark. Riley lives with us now, and then obviously my man Riddick lives with us as well. I have a really fun tattoo that has tally marks in the colors of each of their, either the year that they were born or sorry, the month that they were born or the month that I lost them. And it is tattoo number 16. So if nothing else about me, that's something really fun. I have 16 tattoos. I love tattoos. I think they're a lot of fun. So 2016 was a super exciting year for us. But other than that, I don't know that there's a whole heck of a lot that is left to introduce about me. I have 3 awesome dogs, and I have hundreds and hundreds of school children. and I enjoy being their school mom. But one of the things that I think is really cool about this journey of YouTube vlogging is that my hope is that you get to know me so much more through the individual videos that I do. And so in this introduction video, I just wanted to give you a brief introduction of who I am. And I'm sure it seems super sporadic and super like, did she even have her life together? But there are just so many things that I am excited to share with the world, and excited to share with people who I know, but maybe we haven't sat down and had these conversations. And so I didn't want this to be like an all-in 30-minute video where I tell you my life story. I am going to share some fun facts about me. I saw today on Facebook there was like a quiz, like 25 things that your friends, that even your closest friends may not know. And so I'm gonna go ahead and end with that. Okay, so before I do like the 25 fun facts about myself, I decided to grab Riley because she's been obviously like she's been my ride or die. And so if there are 3 things that I missed in this video, I think Riley can get them. So Riley, what are 3 things that you think the world needs to know about Davlin?
You have a lot of personalities. And you really like to watch, like, murder movies for some reason. And she gets really mad easily.
Okay, so 25 things that even my closest friends may not know about me. So the first one is, do you make your bed? Yes. This summer I have committed to making my bed. As you can see, it's made, but I don't make my bed every day. What is the first car that I officially owned? So to say that I owned a car, my car was on the lease, the deed, whatever we want to call it, was a 2007 Mazda 6. I may have the year wrong, but it was definitely a Mazda 6. What are 3 grocery items you don't run out of? One is red juice. Riddick really likes cranberry apple juice, so we have cranberry apple juice all of the time. The other is Haribo's Twin Snakes because it is literally my favorite snack. And then the third would be milk, obviously because I have a Riddick and he still drinks milk to go to bed. When did you first start doing your own laundry? I started doing laundry when my parents felt that I was old enough to do yard work because I absolutely hate being outside and doing yard work. So there was no way that I was going to do yard work. And so I opted to do everyone's laundry, including my own. That meant wash it, dry it, fold it, so that I did not have to be outside. If you could, would you go back to high school? And I absolutely would. I became a high school teacher because I absolutely loved high school. And I tell all of my kids that on the first day of school because they always ask, why did you become a teacher? And I became a teacher because I loved high school. And if I can make at least one kid a year love high school, then I think that I have succeeded. Can you parallel park in 3 moves? My guess is yes, because I have a backup camera, but we don't do a whole heck of a lot of parallel parking. So there's a good chance that that's also a no. A job you had which people would be shocked. I worked at a car wash for I think like 3 months, and then I decided that your girl could not be on her feet like that, and people's cars were far too nasty for my life. And so I just couldn't do that anymore. The next one is, do you think aliens are real? I don't know if I think aliens are real, but I do think that there is or are other life forms in the universe other than just us. Can you drive a stick shift? Absolutely not. Ask Barkley. He was scared to teach me because I was going to break his car. Barkley's my little brother. Guilty TV you watch. Obviously, Riley put me on blast. My favorite TV shows are anything having to do with like murder mysteries or really anything on Investigation Discovery. That is my favorite. Would you rather be too hot or too cold? That's a really tough question to answer because I lived in Colorado and now I live in Arizona, and in Colorado it's too cold and Arizona is too hot. And so I think that I would rather be too hot because you can, like, I think it's easier to cool down than it is to warm up. If the world ends, do you want to be one of the survivors? Absolutely not. I don't want to be here by myself. Sweet or salty? You know, a nice mix of sweet and salty is perfect. My grandma used to make us peanut butter and jelly sandwiches with French fries. And so, like, whenever I'm craving a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, I crave the sweet and the salty. Do you enjoy soaking in a nice bath? Only during certain months of the year. Like I said, in Arizona, it's always hot. And so even our water is hot. Like, you can't get, like, cool water. So you have to take a bath when the water is the right temperature and it's the right temperature outside. And so I would say, like, in the winter months, which is truly not winter here, it's nice to take a bath every once in a while. But overall, I don't get to take a lot of baths here in Arizona because it's just too stinking hot. Do you consider yourself funny? Heck yes, I am. Ask my kids. I think I'm the funniest person they know. Something people do physically that drives you crazy. I don't know. Being stupid? Is being stupid a physical thing? I don't know. I think that there's a lot of things that people do that drive me crazy. So the next one is, what is something that I do that I'm sure that drives people crazy? And in specific, I know that it drives my husband crazy because he thinks that I'm mad because I'll, like, suck my teeth and bite my bottom lip like I just did. And like, that drives him crazy because he's like, I don't know what I did to make you mad. But I'm not always mad. Sometimes maybe my lip just itches. Do I have any birthmarks? I do. On my arm, you can see, like, the shape of South America. And then I have the same thing on my chest here. It's like just discoloration. It's kind of hidden by my tattoos now. But I think those are, like, my only birthmarks. I was, however, born with 2 bones in my big toe, and so that's probably, like, my biggest birthmark. Favorite childhood sport would absolutely be flag football because I played flag football for my dad for a few years, and I was the quarterback of an undefeated season, so definitely flag football. Do you talk to yourself? Yes. And I do it most when I'm driving because I would like to talk to the people who are driving around me, but I can't. Do you like doing jigsaw puzzles? Yes, I like to do jigsaw puzzles. I don't like 1,000-piece puzzles because one of them 1,000 is going to go missing. I'm going to get to piece 999, and I'm not going to be able to finish the puzzle. And then, like Riley said, I'm going to go 0 to 60. But I do like puzzles. Would you go on a reality TV show? Absolutely. I think that there should be a reality TV show about, like, life as teachers, not like a TV show about teachers, like reality TV show about teachers, like in a day in the life of a teacher, because let me tell you, it's quite entertaining. Tea or coffee? Tea in the summer, coffee in the winter. First thing you remember wanting to be when you grew up? A singer. And I think that that's probably, like, one of my hidden secrets, and maybe not so hidden, but I love singing. I sang in church choir, and I tried out for American Idol, and I just enjoy singing. So if I couldn't do anything else in life, I wanted to be a singer, but I knew that that was not a realistic goal, so I'm a teacher. No matter how much money you have or don't have, what are you a snob about? Getting my nails done. In the process of doing this video, this gel piece came off, and so now I'm frustrated. But I have to have my nails done, no matter what. That was the last one. So hopefully you know me. And if you don't know me, stick around, watch some more videos, like my channel, subscribe, get others to like and subscribe. Tell me what you want me to talk about, and let's continue to enjoy this journey together.